I'm Liz Larson.
And I'm Bill McKenna.
And together, we created the Cognomovement system. And we'd like to welcome you to the New Life Perspectives radio show,
where we're going to be sharing with you tools, tips, and ideas that are going to change your life.
Hello in UK Health Radio. I'm Liz Larson, and I'm here with my friend,
Bill McKenna.
Hey, Bill McKenna, and we are the co-creators of the Cognomovement system and the co-hosts of the New Life Perspectives radio show. And this week, we have a very special guest, and we're so happy to introduce to you who, Bill? Who do we have?
Dr. Clint G Rogers, PhD. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm so darned excited to have him on for all of you. Stay tuned, because this is going to be an extraordinary gift where it's going to open your perception to new possibilities, especially if you're listening to this and you have lost hope. If you are in a place that there's no cure, there's no way out, this show, it's not an accident that you're listening to it right now. A little bit about Clint. Clint is a university researcher who had no time for alternative medicine until he encountered the ancient healing world of Dr. Naram while desperately researching solutions to keep his father alive. So, like so many things, love is what drives the change. Since then, Dr. Clint has spent 10 years traveling with Dr. Naram, documenting many ancient secrets and thousands of healing stories. He has now published a book, Ancient Secrets of a Healing Master, in which he shares some of those stories. In his book, he also describes meeting a great Himalayan master who are living to more than 130 years and revealed 6 key secrets that they are using to create and maintain vibrant health, ultimate energy, and peace of mind. Dr. Clint gave a popular TEDx talk on the topic and has been viewed by millions. It's very popular. You got to watch it. Clint is currently the CEO of Wisdom of the World Wellness, trustee of the Ancient Secrets Foundation, and president of the International Ministry of Peace. Welcome, Clint. Thank you. It's such an honor to have you on our show. And we want to hear. I describe the work of Dr. Naram and yourself as, for people who have ever heard the term Ayurveda, right? So that's it's an alternative to what we have in the West, but it's a standard in the East. And I call what they do, it's called cineveda, and it is Ayurveda on crack. So it is ultimate. So anyway, Clint, tell us about how did you get here?
Oh, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, everyone who's listening right now. I love it. Right before this, we started this broadcast. I just got such a clear intention or idea in my mind that everyone, you are listening to this for a reason. You're here for a reason. And these ancient secrets of a master healer, of which I definitely was a skeptic. The subtitle is A Western Skeptic, an Eastern Master, and Life's Greatest Secrets. I was so much, oh, Bill, you got yours there too. Good. I love seeing that.
Love this.
For those that are listening, Bill and I are both holding the book in our hands right now. I was so much a skeptic, and I didn't have any, in my mind, I didn't think a lot of these things were possible, even credible. Like, actually, if people would talk to me about these things at a certain point in my life, because I was a university researcher, I had a PhD, I was solving so many problems with my brain, I would just say, I would actually think, it sounds horrible, Bill and Liz, I'm so sorry to say this, but I would question their intelligence, and it would make me less want to be around them if they started talking about alternative types of healing stuff. I'm like, come on. But then life throws at us sometimes such unexpected twists, and it forces us to stop, and it shifts our path so significantly. And in this particular case, I'm so glad it did. I'm so glad it did.
Yeah. Well, your father, I mean, his father described it in the book, where his father literally called him just to tell him, he didn't even know if he'd make it through the week. He was in extraordinary pain, dying. And Clint had, some time with this Dr. Naram, and Dr. Naram was part of a lineage that stretched all the way back to the physician for Buddha. They could trace it back. So amazing secrets that would help people to get better from illnesses that no one else could help with. And so, Clint, tell us about your dad, and how's your dad today? How is he?
Great question. And Liz, I think maybe this is your first time hearing this story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, during any time, especially during the holidays, we're always thinking about those we love. So if you're listening to this right now, I want you to think about someone you love. And what would you do for them? How much would you do for them if they really needed it? What extent would you be willing to go? And also, this is the question I asked in the TEDx talk, who's had someone that they love have some big problem or challenge, and you wanted to help them, but you didn't know how? And I think all of us have been in that situation. So before I share this story, I just want to say, I just want you to drop in your heart, because I believe that as I share this story, what if there's one secret, even one thing that enters your heart that totally changes your life? Thank you, Bill, for mentioning about my father. So he called me on the phone one day. This was one of those humbling moments where he says, I need you to meet me in my office. And I said, why? I'm your kid. We can just talk on the phone. So fast forward, I was there at his office, sitting at the chair in front of his desk. He's sitting in the chair to the side of his desk. His eyes were on the ground for a long time. And finally, when he looked up, he said to me, he's like, Clint, I haven't told your mother and I haven't told your brothers or sisters, but I don't even think I'm going to live through this week. And I just want someone to know what the loose ends are so your mom doesn't have to worry about it. I'm still remembering that emotion now because it's so shocking and surprising when I think my dad is going to be there for at least till I get married and have kids. He'll read stories to them. And then all of a sudden, I may not even have him for days. And I thought of all the questions I wish I could have asked him, and I didn't ask him yet. And all the things that all the ways in which I was taking for granted this relationship. And now he may not only have a week. And so I asked him, I was like, what's happening? He says that he had been to 4 of the top doctors. They have him on 12 medications for everything for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, a CPAP machine, sleeping pills, a GI cocktail, arthritis. He was going towards early dementia. First time in his life, he was feeling depression. He said his body was in so much pain. So much pain, it was like someone had thrown him against the wall. He said that he's in so much pain at night. This is when he paused and he says, I'm in so much pain at night. Sometimes I don't even know if I want to live to see the morning. Now that's hard to anyone to hear or say. And so that was a big wake-up call. Now, Bill mentioned I had known this master healer, but I was a skeptic and I didn't pay any credibility towards it. But because I was desperate, I was willing to try something. And so I offered to my dad, I said, I've met this master healer. His name is Dr. Naram, and I think he can do something to help. And at this point, my dad did not look interested. He's like, I've already tried acupuncture, homeopathy, reflexology. I tried everything. He's like, it helped a little bit, but I'm still in the same situation. Can you just please pay attention to my passwords? So I listened as close as I could to all the passwords. And finally, I was like, Dad, I don't care, but for Father's Day, I'm going to fly you to see this master healer. Fast forward 6 months later, my dad calls me into his office again, says, I have another big problem. I'm standing on his doorstep, my heart beating because I remembered what was last time. This time when he opened the door, I sat in the same chair. He sat in the same chair. And this time he just actually didn't look at the ground. He just broke out this big smile as he brought this box from around his desk. It says, my big problem is I don't know what to do with all these medications anymore. In 6 months, he'd gone from 12 medications to 1. No more blood pressure problem, no more diabetes, no more CPAP machine, no more depression, no pain in his entire body. He said he felt 20 years younger. And at this point, he says, you know what I want to do is I want to finish my life's work. He was writing a book to help kids make good choices. He calls it the missing piece in education. We teach kids what to think, but not how to think. And at that point, he says, can you help me co-author this? And I was like, that's a way better request than the last one. And I felt like this master healer gave me a gift worth more than millions of dollars. And so that's when I said to him, I called the master healer. I was like, more people need to know this is possible. They may not choose this, but they should at least know it's a choice. And he laughed, actually. And I don't have to tell that story right now, but he said that I wasn't the right person to help him because my mind was too crowded. He said, oh, go ahead. And Liz, you're going to say
I want to ask about that. So you led me right into the perfect question. Okay. So you said you were a skeptic and you even questioned people's intelligence who were interested in natural medicine.
Yeah.
So now you witness, what would you describe it as? Did it seem like a miracle to you when your dad was healed, or?
Such a good question, Liz. To outside eyes, it appears as a miracle, but Dr. Ram would always say it's based on an ancient science.
Okay, so that's my question. You had a scientific mind already. What shifted you? Of course, you saw it with your own eyes that it worked, but what shifted you into a belief system around it? Why I'm asking this is, when you shift from allopathic to natural medicine, it, for some people, is like changing your religion. It's a big deal. So what was that like? What really shifted your perspective enough to make it your life's work?
Well, it's such a good question, Liz. Honestly, it was, even after seeing my dad's healing, it was still a process. And when this master healer said that I couldn't help him because my mind was too crowded, I got really confused, because my mind as a university researcher, as a scientist, is solving problems with my mind. But he said some things you're going to learn are beyond mind, actually, and you have to learn them with your heart. Then it became a process. I don't have to share the whole story, but for 10 years, basically, I traveled with this master healer, and I heard thousands and thousands of cases like my father, and documented medical reports, blood reports, before and after, all kinds of stuff. And over that period of time, I just developed a profound gratitude that this ancient science exists on the planet, and an undeniable confidence that it is one of the most profound and effective and predictable ways to experience healing. And it's not just about healing, it's about how do you have vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind. How do you avoid getting sick as much as you get sick? Or how do you avoid, sick mind or sick emotions? How do you align with your purpose as a divine being? And so, there's a lot I could share along the lines, but I think it was like just being surrounded by irrefutable overabundance of evidence. And then over that period of time, having my whole perspective on the world change. I saw that the way we look at things in Western medicine and science is not the only way to look at existence and reality. And when you switch to a whole new different viewpoint or glasses or perspective, everything looks different, and you can actually see things more clearly in some instances. Otherwise, why is Western medicine, if it's so effective all the time, how come doctors have a lower life expectancy than normal people, and also higher suicide rate? It breaks my heart, actually, because they devote their life to service, but we want something that is about vibrant life. We want something that's about the interconnection of all parts of us. My dad, when he was sick, He went to one doctor who's a specialist in one thing, gave him medication, but then it broke other parts of him. Then he has to go to the other specialists. They give him something that then breaks other parts until finally he's on 12 medications. That doesn't feel like a really good solution to me. How does anyone even know what 12 medications are doing inside someone's body? So when he was able to get off of all of those, and it was so beautiful too, because his own doctors were the ones taking him off of his medication. I always say, please go to your doctor. They can make sure that you're on the right levels of medications, because as you follow these ancient secrets, it's likely that you'll just see that your body starts to operate optimally. In fact, I just want to share one other thing, Liz. I talked to this one beautiful researcher who studied ancient or Eastern medicine versus Western modern. And he says in ancient China, the doctors got paid as long as you were healthy.
Yes.
I love that. I was like, oh, what a cool way to incentivize the right thing,
So we have to take a break. But when we come back, Clint, would you give us that piece? What is the difference that makes the difference between Western medicine and what you call cineveda? And maybe what is the difference between cineveda and other things? So right now, let's hear from our sponsors at the UK Health Radio. And we're back. So what would you say is the difference that makes the difference?
Oh, beautiful question, Liz. First of all, I have many friends that are doctors. In fact, with Dr. Naram, we taught a university course in Berlin where we had some brilliant doctors from all over the world flew in for a 2-year certification course through a university in Berlin. And I think most doctors go into it because they want to help. And more doctors are becoming open, I think, to exploring what really works. One of the distinctions between these ancient secrets and what we've known in the West is, it was explained by my friend, Dr. Ludwig Max Fischer. He says, in the West, we see everything as a fight. We want to fight cancer. We want to fight bacteria. We even the names of the remedies we have, you get a shot, or you take a painkiller. It's all like war analogy. It's interesting because when you think of it that way, it alters how you look at things. In this ancient system, in these more holistic modalities, you don't look at it like a fight. You're looking at it more in terms of balance and purification. And you understand, when there's an imbalance, things are going to go out of place. And so instead of just killing the symptom with side effects, you want to get the core. And I know if you're listening to this program, you're already open to a lot of these ideas. Now, what makes cineveda unique or interesting is it's been passed down master to student for over 2,500 years. The original master in the lineage was Jivaka, who was the physician for Buddha. And they developed 6 secret keys or 6 instruments of cineveda, where if you apply these, man, so many things are possible. And it like happened for my father, and like has happened now for, I've documented thousands and thousands of cases. So many of the cases are I'm preparing in different ways, but one of them is many of the cases are in the book, including what did they actually do? Which home remedies did they mix in their own kitchen? What food did they change? Which herbs did they start taking? And it's powerful because the whole point of it is that you can heal yourself in many ways when you just understand the principles behind it, and then you align with those principles. Your body is naturally a healing mechanism. It's a machine. It's awesome. Your birthright is to be healthy and happy. And so if you're not, it just means something's out of alignment. And the 6 keys of cineveda can help put it back into alignment.
So audiences listen to this, and I just want to give just a couple examples that just blew my mind, right? There's an example in the book of literally a little girl, I think she was like 9 years old, and she's in a coma. She's literally in a coma, and they rub some sort of herbs on her feet, and they touched a couple points, and then she's out of the coma. She's just amazing type things. There's people who can't walk, and there's people who, for example, like myself, thank you, by the way, Dr. Clint and Dr. Naram, frozen shoulder. I had a frozen shoulder, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, Dr. Naram. And I watched what he did, and I do it, and whoop, there we go. So
Cool.
I've helped some other people with it too. So the work here, I mean, you got to watch all the YouTubes. You got to watch it all, because there's stuff there. They're giving it all away for free all there to teach you how to do it for yourself and others. And this book gives way more. And obviously his courses, I'm sure, that you become a master probably by the time you're done with those things. But anyway, point being is that there's people on their death's doorstep, people that have no hope, and there's just another way. There's another way of going at the problem from another perspective, right? If something's not working, they say, right, doing the same thing and getting the same result is not so bright. You got to shake it up. Try something else. So that's why I was excited about having Dr. Clint on. So anyway, I hate to interrupt, but I just wanted to let people know that because we're talking a lot about amazing, it's amazing, but there's a couple examples of real life stuff, even myself, that if you've had a frozen shoulder, for example, you realize it's not like you're just going to, oh yeah, I had it today and it's gone tomorrow. I mean, this thing could go on for months, years, people go on for a long time with extreme pain. Anyway, sorry for the interruption, but there we go. I just wanted to.
I'm so glad you did. Can I share one amazing side story that I don't think you know?
Yeah, we would love for you to share some stories. That's the funnest part, is to hear what has actually happened. Yeah. Share your side story. And then I would love to know a story that just blew your mind, that surprised even you in your work. Because we have that all the time. We love it.
Yeah, there's so many like that, but this is a recent one. So first of all, I'm so humbled. Dr. Naram, his mission was to make it that the ancient secrets can bless every home and every heart on earth. And as the book was published, it's been so humbling, because within the first year, it's being translated in over 30 languages by volunteers out of love. It's so crazy. I've never heard of this ever happening before. And so already we have the first 6 translations, and in the next 2 months, we'll have another 9 that are completed. I just completed a tour of Europe where we launched the book in Italian, and we did a bunch of pulse clinics. So we have pulse clinics basically where people can come to different cities. Then we went to we went to Switzerland, where the book was launched in French. And then we went to the Netherlands, where the book was launched in Dutch. And this story applies here, Bill. You had mentioned that little girl who had come out of coma.
Yes.
And there was a woman who came from Belgium to our book launch and to the clinic of the Dutch book. And she talked about her brother was in a coma, and her brother was given up. The doctors had given up hope. They said he's not going to survive. And she was so distraught. And she went to sleep that night, and she had a dream actually in which Dr. Naram appeared to her in her dream. It was so beautiful. And Dr. Naram gave her a ring, and she didn't understand the meaning, but when she woke up, she decided to pick up this book she hadn't read yet. She opened up to the first chapter and read the story about this little girl coming out of coma. Now, with each story in the book, it has a description of what do you do? Like if there's someone that is about a headache, what do you do for headaches? What do you do for blood pressure? What do you do for whatever? She just took this book, this part, to the hospital, started applying it for her brother. Her brother came out of the coma, was like coming out of the coma, and she went to get the nurse and the doctor, and the nurse is like, no, this is not possible. Injected him with something to knock him out.
Oh my God.
She was like, what did you do that for? So the next day she came, and then one of the remedies you do is you cut an onion in 6 pieces. You put it on the right side of the head, put milk on the left side of the head. So she's doing the whole thing the next day. She's all anticipated. The nurse is like, why are you doing this? It's a waste of time. She's like, well, you're going to let him, you say he's going to die, so it can't hurt, right? And she's like, okay. So she's doing it, putting it on. There's certain points you press on the body. It's called Marma Shakti points. She did the whole thing. He opened his eyes. She got so excited. She went to get the nurse. She went to get the doctor. They came and they injected him again to knock him out. They said, this is not possible. He's just having tremors in his body. This is just his,
Stop it.
Anyway,
God.
so then what she did is she got him out of the hospital. She has him home and she drove all the way to the Netherlands. I'd never met this woman before. She drove all the way to the Netherlands just to say thank you. Her brother's home. He can stand, he can eat, he can talk, and that was just from reading the first chapter of the book and applying the ancient secrets. So Liz, this is one of the ones that I'm like, that is amazing. That just,
oh, damn. Look at you. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that is, you know what? Even that one thing, even that one of them, it was worth it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you said something there that I think is really important. And if anybody out there is listening, you have a lot of control and power when people are in the hospital that you don't realize you have. And if you get to the point where they say they can't help anymore, and you have the ability to take them home and care for them at home, and the outcome could be the same anyway, why not do it? And a lot of people don't think of that to say, is there anything else you can do for them? If the answer is no, then figure out some other way yourself. I mean, it's always a possibility, always available.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
That's a cool story. Do you have any others? We love to hear stories.
I got so many, but because I'm particularly thinking about, there's people who are listening to this right now that may be in one of those situations where you're experiencing a problem, or you have a family member that's experiencing a problem in which you don't see a solution.
Yeah.
You don't know a solution. And I just wanted to speak from my heart to your heart that Dr. Naram, one of the main quotes, like even when the mother of this girl who was in the coma, when she first came to Dr. Naram, he said, my master always says, no matter how big the problem or the difficulty, never give up hope. In fact, one thing I love about these ancient secrets is they transcend, it's like the light switch doesn't care if you're Muslim, Catholic, Hindu, it just works. The car, it doesn't care what religion, what country you come from. And these ancient secrets, it's irrelevant. It goes beyond all of these things. It's that universal. And the family at the beginning, it was a Muslim family. And I like it because this ambassador from Tanzania, she gave a quote where she used some scripture from the Quran. She says she's talking about these ancient secrets. She says, these ancient secrets will change so many lives around the world. The Quran and Hadith speak about health with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, saying, God has not sent any disease without sending a cure for it. God has not sent any disease without sending a cure for it. Through the ancient secrets described in this book, so many people will find their cure. I pray more people dedicate their lives to learning and sharing this ancient science to help people throughout Africa and all over the world. And the reason why I mention that is because maybe you don't know someone in a coma. Maybe they're struggling with something else though. And why not try something as easy as, like there's a recipe in the book for something called Mung soup. And this is a story I want to share with you, Liz, because it's like, I've recorded thousands of stories, but when it's someone that I love, it means all that much more. Now, my mom saw what happened with my dad. My mom loves me. My mom read this book. She loved the book, but she didn't apply anything in the book, So you can read something, you can know something, but the value is when you do it, and she didn't because for whatever reason, But we have something on Sundays, we call them the Sunday Global Healing Miracle Calls. And on these calls, people from all over the world that are reading the book in different languages or watch the TEDx talk and applying it, they come and they just share their stories. On the call, my mom heard this woman from Brazil who had stage 4 knee problems, so much knee pain. Her name was Louisa. And she's actually read, there's a home remedy in the book for joint pain. So she started mixing the ingredients in her kitchen. She started making the Mung soup. And she said her pain went away. She went back to the doctor. He's like, I don't know how it happened, but went from stage 4 to stage 2. Now, the beautiful thing was my mom heard her story, and that convinced my mom to start. She's like, wait a minute, I have knee pain. I read that book. I didn't do that remedy. I didn't take the Mung soup. So she says, I'm only going to eat this Mung soup. After 3 days, because before she would feel pain walking to the neighbor, pain. My mom is amazing. She's a mother of 8 kids. God bless her, and she is always devoted to service and to love, but her body wasn't able to keep up. And the beautiful thing happened 3 days after that, when she was on taking the remedy. And it's not going to be this quick for everyone, but for her, it was this way. All her pain was gone. And I got so happy. And I call this contagious healing, because then she started telling everybody at the grocery store, at the mall, at the gym, anyone has any problem, she's like, oh, my son can help you. And so it's really powerful if there's something simple and delicious, like it's just a delicious remedy that also involves soup, a delicious soup. And all you have to do is eat this soup and not eat other things. And then what if your knee pain can go away? And because this happened for my mom, then so many other things have happened. She's helped literally hundreds, maybe thousands of people for chronic and acute health challenges to disappear just because she had her own experience.
So this Mung recipe, I know it's in the book, right? But all like every other person, lazy as heck to go out and get all the ingredients and that sort of thing. I've got it here. I was wondering, is there somebody out there that sells a canned or some sort of thing? You go on Amazon or somewhere, you'd say Mung soup, cineveda Mung soup, click, and it shows up. You got anything like that?
You're amazing. I don't know how you asked that question right now. In next week is the first day that someone actually developed a mung bean soup kit where all the ingredients are together. I've actually been I've been asked to officiate at a wedding in Dallas, and they've completed the kit in time because the wedding couple, they said, we want to give as a gift to everyone at our wedding the book and the mung bean soup ingredients. And so the person agreed to complete the kit in time for their wedding. It was so beautiful because they said, our wedding is supposed to be about love, and we want everyone who comes to experience love and healing. In fact, the opening quote in the book, it just says simply, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. And the other place is, before that kit is ready and available on the market, you can go to myancientsecrets.com/recipe, and it gives the entire recipe for all your listeners. They can go, and it's hyperlinked to all the Amazon places you can get it. And when you click on it, there are affiliate links where money gets donated to the foundation to support these orphan kids in Nepal. So it's another super easy way. Amazon can deliver all the ingredients to you, and it benefits the orphans, and we made it super easy.
So the proceeds of something else go to that foundation too. Would you tell us what else goes to that foundation?
Yeah, when people get the book from myancientsecrets.com, and when they purchase it from there, this or any of the languages, then a larger portion goes to benefit the orphan kids in Nepal through the Ancient Secrets Foundation. And it's really beautiful. If anyone wants to come with me to Nepal and walk the path of these master healers and meet these orphan kids, you're welcome. I'm taking a group actually in March, and it's going to be a real mystical adventure journey.
How fun. Is that on the website as well, that trip?
Or it's not. It's more a exclusive thing. But if people want to connect with me through Instagram or Facebook or whatever way and find out about it, I can let you know.
Wonderful. All right. So we need to connect with our sponsors at UK Health Radio. And then when we come back, Clint, you said that you have a gift for our audience, something that they can take home and do for themselves, correct?
Yeah, I think you're going to love this.
Okay, so UK Health, take it away. And we're back. So what was it you were going to share with us?
Oh, thank you, Liz. And thank you, Bill. It's such a pleasure to be with you both. And I mentioned about my mom. And since then, she's been a guinea pig for a lot of home remedies, So when she first took a home remedy for stomach acidity that I gave her, she's like, you know what this tastes like, Clint? I was like, what? She's like, this tastes like dirt. I was like, okay. But there's the remedy I gave her that I'm going to give everyone right now I really think this can benefit you. So the book, it's like full of these remedies, but one of them is about how to boost your immunity, especially during this season in which people are getting sick or people are worried about contagious. I call this contagious healing. So my mom, was a substitute teacher now for helping kids that have severe multiple disabilities, or I call them differently abilities. She was, when you start to get sick, and she was nervous of going there because of all the fears of the virus, everything. I was like, she asked me, do you have a remedy? I was like, you better believe I got a remedy. So I opened up the book to page 293 in the book. Point number 3 is a specific home remedy you make into a certain kind of a tea. I mixed it up for her, and I'll give you the ingredients in a second. She drank it and she's like, do you know what this tastes like, Clint? And I was bracing myself. She's like, this tastes like liquid ginger snaps. And I was like, really? And I tasted it. I was like, yeah, actually it kind of tastes Christmassy, just delicious. She took it that night. She took it again in the morning, and she says she went to school, no problem, never got sick. Since then, I've had so many stories. In fact, there's miracle stories of people who are translating the book in different languages. The woman translating the book into Farsi, her aunt, 80 years old, got sent to the hospital, and the hospital is where she contracted COVID. There, they thought she wasn't going to live. She sent this recipe for this home remedy and the Mung soup ingredients to the hospital every day with the family. Within about a week or 2 weeks, she came out of the hospital and now has been fine. The doctors at the hospital in Iran now have been recommending to other family members of other people in the hospital, please make this home remedy and give this Mung soup to your family member. So I've heard it so many people taking this with such great results. I'm going to just read you it, because if you write it down, just take it every day, boost your immunity, enjoy the peace of mind, So you just take 1/2 teaspoon ginger juice. You could also use ginger powder if you want. 1/2 teaspoon turmeric powder, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon powder, 11 to 12 tulsi or basil leaves if you have them, 1/8 teaspoon clove powder, and 1 clove of garlic. You mince it. You mix it all in a glass of warm water. You put in 1 teaspoon of honey, and then you take it. You can take it 2 to 4 times a day. In fact, I've been taking it right now because I love it. And I have been like a little bit, can tell that my body needs a little bit of extra support right now. So it's amazing, powerful, and very helpful.
That does sound very similar to some things I put in apple pie and pumpkin pie this time of year. So I understand why it tastes like ginger snaps. That's amazing. All warming, right? Warming herbs. Is that true?
Yeah. Lots of these are warming herbs. Yep.
Yeah. Very interesting. What are the other properties? What's the secret behind this remedy?
Oh, such a great questions you're asking, Liz. Sometimes there's the properties of the thing. This is one thing Dr. Ram taught me. First of all, he says everything is a medicine or poison depending on how you use it. Because even water can be a medicine for hundreds of things and a poison for some things. Says even your life's work can be a medicine or poison depending on if it's aligned with your purpose. So all the ingredients in your kitchen, some of them we're using, actually, unfortunately, they're not good for us the way we're using them. But the way that Dr. Ram helped me see things is if you understand the different ingredients in your kitchen differently, then you can know which things are medicine for you at which times. And then in certain cases, there's an alchemy where when you mix those ingredients in that way, it has an extra benefit. Yeah, beautiful. And so, yeah, if you go on, even if you ask Alexa, tell me all the healing. Oh, I'm going to turn on everyone's Alexa. Okay. Alexa, tell me all the healing benefits of cinnamon. You'll be shocked. You say, Alexa, tell me all the healing benefits of honey. It just is amazing. You can go through ingredient by ingredient. Same thing with the ingredients for the Mung soup. All those ingredients, you can ask Alexa, what are the healing benefits for Mung? And she talks for like 10 minutes about all these benefits.
So I have a question about the Mung soup. So they're in Thai food. They use Mung beans to make noodles. I think they're called glass noodles or mung bean soup. And it was one of my favorites, and it had garlic and onions and veggies and stuff, right? And I just loved it. And so I'd go to this one restaurant and order it all the time. And the waitress asked me, are you on a diet? And I mean, to me, this soup seemed full of carbs, the beans. And I said, well, kind of always on a diet, but why do you ask? She said, well, that's the soup we use all the time when we're on a diet. is this mung bean soup. So what do you make of that?
It's amazing. Well, I'm so happy you shared that. I talked about my teacher, Dr. Ram. He had a master, and his master, Baba Ramdas, lived to 124. He had a master, The original master, Jivaka, was the physician for Buddha, and he's beloved in Thailand. You can go to Thailand, you'll see statues of Jivaka. And so a lot of these ancient secrets spread in different ways, different places. But when people eat Mung soup, it brings you to your ideal weight. In fact, after the holidays, lots of people are going to want to lose weight. This is an amazing way because you don't have to limit how much you eat. You eat as much as you want, but it just balances you. Some people who are underweight, it helps them gain weight, actually, because Mung is full of protein. But I have story after story of people losing 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. In fact, we just posted a video about a wonderful woman. She said she was always looking for the trifecta of weight loss, to lose weight, but also to still keep energy and then to have peace of mind, you know? And she says she never found it until she read this book and started Mung soup, and how much it changed her life. It balanced her hormones. I mean, so many great things. Her daughter was so cute. She's like, my mom, I can't even tell when her period anymore. Before she was so grumpy. I don't know. It's really fun how when you change your life, when you choose to heal yourself, it really does help heal the world. When you change your life, it benefits everyone around you. My friend Mike Smith, actually, he had his blood test done before and after a 30-day. We do take people through something called a 30-day Mung detox challenge. And his blood reports were so remarkable. And he says, probably the best gift I gave people is there's a less grumpy version of me that they have to interact with now. Because when the pain goes away, if you're hurting, you're not so pleasant to be around sometimes, But when the pain goes away, all of a sudden you feel a vibrant experience of life all over again, And what a gift to give everyone is take really good care of yourself. Don't do this holiday the same way. Don't do your life the same way you've done it before. If something's out of alignment, have the courage to slow down and say, I'm going to choose something different, something healthier, something that makes me happy.
That is a big thing that people miss, and we're talking about it in our work all the time. You can choose to be happy. You can focus on being happy. You can make a practice of creating more joy. And so many people have heard this and many people haven't. But like you said, a detox, a cleaning of even just your colon can make your body feel more joyful. So it's a huge thing to consider that healing your body can create that joyful state naturally on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's amazing. What if your healing can be delicious?
What if it can?
Yeah, and what if it can be relatively simple? And what if it can start relatively inexpensively? And all it requires is you to commit to it, to your best self, to your healthiest self, your happiest self.
That would be amazing. So we have like 2 minutes left. What would you love people to know before we go? And also how they can, let's talk about how they can find you again.
Well, I'm on Instagram, Dr. Clint G Rogers. I'm on Facebook. But if you come to myancientsecrets.com, that's where you can sign up for the mailing list. You can, many people say this is the perfect gift. This book is a perfect gift to give anyone that they love. In fact, I have so many stories about how it changed someone's life, in a beautiful way. We have training. We have the 100-day training. We have the 3-year practitioner training. Many ways in which if you feel inspired, you want to learn more about this, you want to go deeper, if you feel your heart resonating with it, then come. And the last thing I just want to share is, the first quote, even if all you do is you just remember this quote, it will be worth it to me. I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. So just please continue to let love guide you. And through that way, all kinds of good things will happen for you and for all of us.
That is great. Hey, Clint, there's one thing for us to try to do it for ourselves. It's a whole nother thing to, go with an expert, right? For a lot of people that are listening, they're suffering. They're in chemo, they're suffering, and they need somebody else to facilitate this. Is there anywhere that these people can go to see a practitioner? Where is there website or anything to find people?
Yeah, great question, Bill. You know, because even some of the herbal formulas are a little complicated and you want some support on that part of it. And so we do have practitioners. Dr. Ram trained me, and I travel. He trained so many other doctors, and they're traveling. And also because during the situation where lots of the world was closed down, we became very good at consulting via Zoom. And so if you come to myancientsecrets.com, there's actually a FAQ section, and you say, if I want a consultation, how can I get one? It lists several different options of how you can get a consultation, and you can do it from the ease of your home, or if you want to, you can travel to one of the locations. You can also request for one of us to come to your city, and then you can host something there.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well that does it then. We got a method to get help.
Yeah, and
right?
since this is UK Health Radio, there's several practitioners in England, very good ones. Dr. Sarita, Dr. Mira, some very powerful practitioners that are right there in England.
Well, this program actually is a wonderful thing about it is it's global.
Cool.
A large audience in the Middle East, UK, obviously, United States. It's worldwide. So, and the great thing is you're worldwide too. Liz Larson, take us away.
All right. Thank you so much, Clint. We appreciate you so much. And as always, thanks for being here with us, Bill McKenna. And we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have an amazing holiday.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for being here with us on the New Life Perspective radio show. For more information or to find out more about the work that Bill and I do, please visit us at cognomovement.com or email us at info@cognomovement.com. See you again soon.